Welcome back, Tube Dwellers, to a best of 5 series between our German hero, Liquid TLO, and his also German opponent, kauP. This is game number 3. So far, 2 games have gone the way of TLO, and so kauP's back is against the wall. The Wall of Acheron Wastes, that is the map we're on. Kaspersky Arena is the tournament we're in. Semifinals are what's on the line. However, that means that kauP has already taken at least 3rd place. This is the round of 4. Well, I guess that may not be true. I guess 3rd and 4th are tied, right? Yeah, I wasn't necessarily thinking about that. So he's taken 3rd or 4th place. But 3rd or 4th place in the tournament, hey, that's not half bad. I looked it up. 1,000 euros, the overall reward for this tournament. 400 going to 1st place. No, scratch that. Was it? No, I think it was 400. It's 400, 300, 200, 100. That comes up to 1,000, right? Yeah, it does. Quick math says I am correct. So they're looking at the difference between having a chance at the 4-3 spot, 400 euros, 300 euros, or being relinquished to the 100 or 200 euro spot. And I'm sure that the 3rd and 4th place are probably divided by whether or not they won any games. So I'm sure kauP, even if he doesn't expect to beat TLO, he's going to want to do as much as he can to potentially take a game off of TLO so that he looks a little bit better for the consideration of 3rd place and a possibility of doubling his reward. TLO coming out with the 15 hatch yet again. Barracks this time. Acheron Wastes is kind of a smaller map. It's kind of wide, just the way you're at the two far extremes, the way it's diagonal across the map. The ground path distance isn't necessarily close, but it is not a big map. And so it makes sense that he doesn't go 15 command center. But you know what? I say that. He actually did in the last game on Newkirk Precinct, which is very comparable to Acheron Wastes. So maybe that logic isn't what guides his hand here. Maybe he has something else in mind. He does already have a gas down too. That dastardly kauP. So I'm thinking a lot faster tech than what we've seen in game 1 or 2. I'm thinking kauP's going to get aggressive early and see if he can put a clinic on before TLO's monstrous machine-like macro gets into full swing. I should have went with gear. Full gear would have made the pun complete. Would have made it a succinct and satisfying pun. A Reaper. That is, okay. There's a little bit of space here. I don't necessarily identify this as the most Reaper-friendly map. I guess there's a good bit of space behind the natural, so knowing that TLO is going to have a natural, that's decent. And it's not as narrow at the main ramp as, say, a Daybreak. So a touch more Reaper-friendly than the least Reaper-friendly maps. Interested to see kauP's micro here. Reapers can kind of be tough to catch if the player micros well. I've seen plenty of Terran players, though, not really put that much attention on their Reaper and instead get it killed. Examples being Happy earlier in the TLO versus Happy series. 2nd Reaper's out. Gave a middle finger to the camera, so I had to censor it. I had to get the camera off that 2nd Reaper for a second there. Oh, the double entenders. That which makes the English language hard. Second meaning 2 different things. You could even say the second and be proper. 2 gas coming out from TLO. No fast 3rd this time. Decent number of Zerglings, but he is dealing with some number of Reapers, so having that is good. Reapers don't like Queens. They're going to run. Reapers can't really do anything to Queens. I guess continuously over time they could wear Queen HP down faster than they'd wear that down their own, so long as you backed off to regen. The command is up for kauP. It looks like he did go for a faster factory. He's got a tech lab on it. He's building a siege tank. So this looks very similar to TLO and Happy's game number 4 so far, except that he's getting a 3rd command center very quickly, and he's delaying the 2nd gas. So it looks like he just wants a siege tank. That sounds like it's going to be a defensive move to try to get 3 bases up really fast, and the Reapers are going to try to just delay TLO's 3 bases for as long as possible. And that's what we're seeing here, which is all good, except for that TLO's building a Roach Warren. Now, maybe this is a bad thing for kauP. because TLO has aggression on his mind and kauP has macro, but maybe this is a good thing. kauP did get a siege tank, and it's very possible that he's going to have what it takes to defend any kind of roach-oriented pressure. This map especially, the third, you remember Newkirk's, Jesus Christ how wide open that is. It has like a whole nother side to it. This has one entrance, and it's got a collapsible rocks tower there, so defense here of a third, much easier than on the last map. TLO is going to get his third, a lot slower than in game number 2, but it's still there, nonetheless. And I'm watching this production queue. I'm seeing the roaches coming out. I was waiting for the drop-off in drones, and I think we might be seeing it. I haven't seen a drone up there for a little while. And TLO is for sure a min-max player. He's going to go all the way one way or all the way the other. He's bringing an Overlord to see vulnerabilities. He does see a third command center. That's going to be nice for him to see. That might be all he needs to see. He might know just from that it's going to be very difficult for kauP to have enough to defend this. And he's going to have roach speed. Wow, this is a really interesting push. He rushed a lair. That's an incredibly fast lair. Done, and by the 8:30 mark, he's got roach speed halfway done. This is going to be a very roach-focused push. I'm a little bit worried. There's one tank. I guess that's it, right? He only built the one tank. Wow. TLO may still be able to pull this off. kauP trying for this queen kill. Instead, TLO is going to kill a Hellion. Looks like he will lose a queen over here. I'm not sure he's totally concerned about that. He's got a queen in the natural in the main, and then he's got another one, injured as it may be, that can go to the third. I don't see him building another queen, though, so he's probably just not at all concerned about it. Now, if kauP spots this, it's going to benefit him a lot. TLO wants to hide it. He's going to go around the outside of the map. He's going to try to stay away from this Reaper and Hellion vision, and it looks like kauP knows. kauP knows that this is a risky timing. He's backing up to try to spot right here instead. He's not keeping the pressure at TLO's front because he knows he's not delaying the third any longer. He needs to get in. He needs to close this depot. He does. My camera must be jumping off of the screen. Oh, he's in. That bunker went down so fast. This siege tank is doing massive damage, though. kauP's got to lose SCVs to hold this, but kauP is holding this. He's holding this very steadily. And with that third command center, he is ahead by a worker. TLO has worked himself into a dangerous position. kauP's going to be able to rebuild this wall very shortly. And he still has a tank up, but he really needs to get production swinging here. He needs to get the production swinging in the right way. Honestly, I think he needs to cancel a Marine and maybe get a Marauder, seeing that these roaches had a very fast speed and that it was a mostly roach composition, leaving out banelings altogether. I think he might even need to switch this factory back over to a tech lab and get a couple more tanks out. This is going to be tough to defend. TLO's rallying. The tank's in a decent spot. TLO looks like he just wants to make this third lift, and if he gets out away from that tank, he should be able to accomplish that. Let's switch back over to the production tab for just a second. TLO does have a follow-up on his mind. This isn't all the way all in. We see almost 10 drones coming up now. 1-1 going down for the roaches, so it looks like if this doesn't end up killing kauP, he is going to stick with the roach composition. Also, an infestation pit going down. Now, that's either going to be swarm hosts or infestors. I would love to see swarm hosts. He's selecting it. Oh, Enduring Locust, TLO. TLO's going to have some fun. I don't know how much faith he has in this composition as a solid composition against any old opponent. Say if he was in the finals of an MLG. I don't know necessarily that Swarm Host would be his go-to. But in this game against kauP, this map especially, there are two very clear attack paths right here that are roughly equidistant on the outside as they are on the inside. The inside's a little bit closer, but you could set Swarm Host right here, and then you can make the Terran dance by sending the Locust one way than the other. And this and Belshir Vestige tend to be, Belshir Vestige has a similar dichotomy, tend to be the, I don't know, at least thought of as the most Swarm Host favored, if that's even a thing. I'm not sure it's even a thing. Swarm Host favor, I don't know that there is Swarm Host favor. Again, 2 drops. I love how kauP does this. He's going out to both sides of the map. He's going to pick off a couple Overlords. I love especially that he's doing 2 drops, seeing a roach composition out of TLO. The more roaches TLO builds, the more gas he invests into that, the less likely he is to do a Muta swap. Mutas are what really makes drops risky. It makes you want to not do drops whatsoever. It's likely that there are not going to be any mutas, though. Instead, TLO's putting up spore crawlers. I really like the placement, too. Those 2 are going to pretty much totally lock down this base. Took out the medevac very easily. The Marines get picked off. This other drop hasn't moved in yet. We're going to see it chill out to the side after getting an Overlord kill. TLO with a couple roaches forward. It looks like spotters. With a, I guess, scouting drone as well. I'm not sure where he went with that. I guess he misrallied it and then just caught it at the end. It may have been to scout out a push. Oh, and here comes the push. This creep spread, too. Going swarm hosts. TLO is really focused on the creep spread, knowing that the creep is going to allow him to build defenses and basically double the effectiveness of the swarm hosts. That makes the natural nastiness at range couple with the defense's nastiness and in very close range. I guess I should say far range and close range. And doubles that effectiveness. Makes them good in place and way out here in kauP's face. Double drop coming together. Again, kauP has faith in this success rate of drops against a mutilous force, and he's finally moving this drop up a little bit more too. Looks like he was wanting to pick off a 4th base, but it hasn't come yet. TLO's staying lower economy in this game than he has been. A double drop, that's going to take swarm hosts out pretty damn quick, but I think there's enough, and there will be enough locusts that he's going to have to get up. As a matter of fact, he lost a lot of Marines fast. We've got some stimming into the main now. This double drop's going to nail down into the natural. It looks like it's going to get cleaned up very quickly by roaches. I don't believe that kauP is trying this. That's a hive on the way. kauP's getting damage done to it. It's possible that he'll be able to damage it enough that a pickoff can come later, but there's basically no way a single drop is going to... Oh, Queen takes it out too. There's basically no way a single drop is going to do that hive in. TLO's force looks massive, but the supply lead's in kauP's favor. The biggest and most well-organized gang in New York. The kauPs.
Oh, warriors! Come out to play!
I'm sorry, guys. Really shouldn't have done that. I'm sure it deeply hurt you. Right down inside the ear canals. The siege begins. Swarm hosts are in place. They're pretty far back. It looks like TLO's very familiar with the range that swarm hosts can achieve. kauP moves out for a counterattack. I actually like that he's taking out some defenses and some creep spread. I think he probably needs to abuse these little windows that TLO opens up as he shifts his swarm hosts around. TLO's got enough roaches, though, that this force isn't going to be able to do a lot. He's going to pick up a medevac's worth, and he's going to try to drop. This is kind of risky, though, especially since he just used the medevac speed, and he didn't go that far from the roaches. Looks like those infantry will be picked off easy. Oh, but a drop goes into the main. There was a double drop here. There was a second medevac. I can tell by the number of Marines. The hive goes down. Beautiful plays by kauP. That could be huge if TLO didn't already have Vipers on the way. Honestly, it could still be pretty big. He did get to start 3-3 as well, which is really a huge bonus for TLO. The Roach Warren goes down. This is a decent bit of tech sniped out here. TLO could be in a bit of trouble if kauP finds a way to put a lot of pressure on. He's only on 3 base, though, and TLO is pretty comfortably establishing his 4th. So I'm not sure that kauP has the capacity, I say, as he establishes a 4th, to be able to basically waste this army then remax. If he pushes out and it doesn't go his way, it may be a game-ending mistake. He's moving 2 drops in. He just saw the swarm host coming up. It looks like he's going to try a little move at the swarm host directly, and with no defenses up there, this is the exact way you want to abuse swarm host play. They're just now spitting out their locusts. He needs to pick back up, but he killed, what is that, a good 5 swarm host? That was nice. Very well done. Looks like he just lost a couple infantry out of the drop for it. Again, he's got more drops coming up to the north side. This drop looks like it may have come in. I may have missed some part of it. It's very well damaged. TLO a little bit slow to put up the defenses at this new 4th that he just established, but he puts his lair there. Interesting. Very interesting choice. It's probably just a spam choice. He probably saw his hive go down, even saw this drop, obviously set to take his hive out, and he probably just spammed out a lair somewhere. Maybe even hit his hotkey for hatcheries 6 or you know, 3 or whichever hotkey it is he uses, and just hit the L key to go to lair. Sounds likely. TLO's got some Vipers in the mix, and he was actually holding his locusts back so that he could pull some tanks out of the army and kill them with the locusts. That's really awesome. He even used Blinding Cloud on, I think, the Vikings and Widow Mines. So really fancy stuff coming out from TLO here. He's going to try to get that siege tank count down. If he can whittle the siege tank count down to a low number or maybe even nothing, then all of a sudden these swarm hosts become super effective. I got to really keep my eye on the minimap. There are drops poised to strike. They're not going in quite yet. kauP's going to try to move out to the side and be answered with a crap ton of roaches. 3-3 is up for kauP as well, so there is no upgrade advantage for TLO. I have a feeling that if he knew this was over here muling, he would at least send a pack of locusts that way. Something! The Spire is finally coming out, and I can only imagine there is another hive on the way. Sure enough, it's this 4th base down here. TLO is going to put a lot of stock in defending that. It is the newest base too, so actually, now that I think about it, it really makes sense to put your tech there, because this base is going to have minerals and gas there for the longest. You may come to a point in the game where you're okay with sacrificing this base. And seeing that drone count, did damage happen over here? I don't know. TLO's still at 70. 74 to be exact. kauP is at 70. That means that if kauP wants it, he could have an income lead, but TLO is in a very comfortable spot, especially considering that he's on late game tech, and so his expenditures are focused on gas. Gas doesn't necessarily take workers to bring in, it takes bases. Doesn't take many workers to saturate a base. TLO did finally find out about this 4th. It's going to lift before dying. That's going to keep mules from happening over there, and he's going to also push over to this one. So again, kauP held back to just 3 bases, and at this point that's, I might even call this roughly 1 base income. It's not great income for Mr. kauP. He is maxed though, and he's banking some money. This isn't enough to totally lose his army and remax, but it's enough that he may be able to start pushing out and trying to deal with this. Against swarm hosts, you can leapfrog tanks. You can leapfrog them especially well between swarm host waves. When there's no locusts, you can leapfrog all of your tanks. You can de-siege everything and move up. He can't really take advantage of it because his force doesn't really move fast. He doesn't have enough roaches to really contend with this bioforce. So I'd really like to see kauP starting to do that. It'd be kind of risky. It would open him up to some Viper yoinks. Yoink micro. But I think it's about his only chance. We've still got some drops here and there. kauP's being a lot less active with drops now than he has been so far. I guess he's being more active at the front. There's a lot of attention on this front. Liquid TLO is forcing kauP to pay attention to this front. Infester, going to come over here and deal with this drop. It looks like there were a couple roaches there. Just enough infested Terrans. It's going to kill all the infantry off and chase the medevacs. I don't think the medevacs will go down, at least not yet. And the damage continues. I'm waiting for this move to happen from kauP because I'm ready to go crazy full screen with this. I'm going to need it. This is going to be a huge front when the front does finally develop. kauP is pretty successfully not losing anything here, but he's not gaining anything with the time he's buying. There's a good sized drop on the back. Here, another little counterattack. Counterattack's aimed at the army. Kind of cool to see. Fungals are tearing this up, though. Not only the bio, but holding the medevacs in place. And enough roaches are going to show up that he's got to get out of there. Looks like he's going to send that medevac towards the main. kauP's able to reestablish a 4th over here. This mule is going to help him out a lot. This is a lifeline that he desperately needs right now. And I say desperately, but I mean that assumes that he's going to do something, that he has a plan of attack here. I mean, I know TLO's in a nice entrenched position, more so than most Terrans can achieve, but that doesn't mean that he can't, you know, steadily move in on it. Get something done. TLO doesn't look like he's got enough fungals to continue. The medevac will get out. And he's not going far. Gonna catch some very fortuitous transferring drones. I should say that the catch is fortuitous, not the drones. The drones are unlucky as hell. When the road to work goes right past a toxic garbage dump, or in this case, right through, oftentimes it's a bad thing. Metaphorically speaking, in this situation, toxic dump being some infantry that are just going to shoot your face off. Drones like their faces. They don't want to lose their faces. More Vipers coming out. Keeping this unit tab up. I'm going to switch over to the production real quick. Air upgrades. TLO. You little guy. Still more infantry coming out from kauP. Looks like he's got a half-built missile turret somewhere that he's never going to finish. These air upgrades, though, indicate a tech switch for Mr. TLO, and it's one I will be very interested to see. Maybe into Broodlords. I would expect it to be Broodlords. Oh, moving down on this fourth again. There are enough infested Terrans there. I think TLO's got it. I'm not sure the command center can get away. kauP's going to try. If he could repair it a little bit. Oh, it's not going to get it. Explosion! Hairdryer, as Day 9 would say, included in every orbital command. Orbital commands need giant hairdryers, so they can keep all the other structures in the Terran base styling and profiling with the latest haircuts. Of course, they just use mules, those big spin chop blades on the front, to do the actual cutting of the hair. For some reason that reminds me of Wayne's World with the hair vacuum, whatever the hell that thing was called, that like sucks your hair into it and then cuts your hair. Oh man, that's so terrifying. I saw a lady walking out of Meijer the other day. She dropped a bag of Cheetos in front of her cart and then ran over the bag of Cheetos, and it popped real loud, so it startled a couple people. And her Cheetos went spewing out to the side of the cart, and her reaction was so priceless. It was like she had lost a child or something. It was similar to the Wayne's World reaction of Garth getting his hair sucked into the hair vacuum. It was a little bit of a flip-out reaction. I won't mimic it for the love of your eardrums. I still am not sure what kauP aims to accomplish. He's counterattacking like a madman, and I gotta give him props. He's getting damage done on the hive again. These infantry are so low, the hive will literally be defended by drones, which is funny, but barely. That is so low that a couple Marauders might be able to just like stim across the map and take it out. That is, if the Marauders could get out of the base. They have been able to get out of the base so far, but not very far out. TLO's spread here is amazing. He's finally starting to put up even more static defenses. I think it's a great choice. May even say that I would have liked to see that a little bit earlier. Don't mind me, I'm not in any place to criticize TLO. This is a madman who looks in a position to take a third game in a row from a player who would mop the floor with me. kauP, obviously. Leagues, literally leagues, better than me at Terran. I still feel it necessary, though, to criticize his game plan right now. The drops continue to go out, and, I mean, they haven't been ineffective. You know, in the grand scheme of things, though, haven't really done that much. TLO's speed on all fronts of the game have still been ahead of kauP's. And his siege is never ending. I wonder what TLO's bus plan is. I mean, I'm sure it involves Broodlords. I wonder if it's gonna end up unfolding something like a very slowly closing vice, or if it's gonna explode like a hand grenade with teeth and claws instead of shrapnel. The vice sounds more likely. I think it's the better with the swarm hosts and broodlords. kauP's got a big army here. He's got some ravens on the field now. He's got the upgrades for them. They're almost full on energy, so he's going to make something happen with them. It looks like a seeker missile does not one-shot a swarm host, so you actually want to target 2 seeker missiles onto each swarm host. That's kind of annoying. Either that or you want to target seeker missiles on ones really close next to each other, like maybe one here and one here, so that the splash gets the other ones. I think the splash, is it static? Is the whole thing 1 damage? 100 damage. Splash damage upon contact. Okay, yeah, so you could probably just target one of these swarm hosts with 2, this little pack of 4 right here, with 200 seeker missiles, and it would blow up all 4 of them. That would be kind of nice. That would be an ideal way to do it. That may have some effect, though, kauP. With these ravens, he may be able to pull something off. TLO's army has become very immobile now. He's sacrificed almost all of his roaches. He literally has 6 left, and he's got just a little pack of zerglings to try to deal with these counterattacks. The zerglings do have 3/3 as well as TLO's, you know, ranged upgrades on his roaches, so TLO monster in the upgrades. as you might expect. Oh wow, kauP getting ballsy with a move out directly into the front. I wonder if this is to free up supply to modify his composition. It kind of looks like it. And I have to wonder, is it going to be tanks? No, Ravens, more bio. So he lost bio there, so that he's rebuilding bio means that wasn't necessarily sacrificial. It was aiming at doing some damage. He's going to move out with another double drop. Sounds very likely that it's going to pick off that hive. It may be able to get into this base. kauP is again going to be pushed off his only mining base at this point. And TLO's, I don't know, it's not even like the vice is slowly closing. It's like TLO just caught kauP in a vice and he can't go anywhere. TLO doesn't even need to tighten the vice. Eventually, I guess kauP would run himself out. He has used up pretty much all of his bank. And while this is going to work, TLO's economy isn't the most, I don't know, integral part of his game right now. This huge wall of impenetrable stuff is the most integral part of his game. Coming into the main, there's a lot of tech here to be sniped. There are reinforcements though, ground and air. And I think this will be able to deal. Does TLO have the Ling speed that everybody... The Ling... Oh, TLO being reminded by this drop that he does not yet have adrenal glands. The upgrade for Zergling attack speed. And so he will get it now. kauP, that was actually a very costly drop for you. To come into the main and remind TLO that he needs to get that Zergling upgrade. Oh, here we go. Is that 4? On the Broodlords! Nice splits! God, TLO, you're amazing. I think that was just 2. I thought that was 4 Hunter Seekers. Nope, just 2. 2 Broodlords, a little bit damaged, not gonna die. kauP, man, you're hemorrhaging blood. You're losing life. His siege tanks are not dealing with this as well as they have been. A matter of fact, to the Vipers, I guess, he's lost a lot of siege tanks. This is bad. The siege tanks, actually, he's got some over here trying to defend that base. Okay, that's where some of them went. Siege tanks are really the deal factor with these swarm hosts. The swarm hosts may not be the biggest threat, though. Looks like kauP's going to try to put together a Terran Air Force. Oh, man. Last few siege tanks. TLO knows it. TLO knows how important the siege tanks are. He's going to dedicate some attention directly to them. And if he sees that they're all gone, he's going to get really serious with just pounding right down the front with these swarm hosts. And I guess the big push out that I was looking for probably isn't going to happen. kauP GG's. And there we have at least the landscape that the battle would have occurred on. kauP taking it deep, but not giving us the satisfaction of the big bloody end battle. I guess TLO gave us that satisfaction over time. There was a lot of blood, which makes me wonder, wow, that unit's lost tab. Jesus! TLO near 2,500. kauP approaching 40. 25,000 is what I meant. kauP approaching 40,000. Wow, the efficiency of TLO in this match. Beautiful stuff. So there's a 3rd win in a row. Best of 5 series down. There shall be no 4th or 5th. TLO takes it, clinches it seemingly with ease, and moves into the finals. And if you haven't guessed already, I did mention Nurchio. This is going to be a ZVZ finals. We got TLO versus Nurchio coming up next, so please stay tuned. And as always, thank you all for watching. Bye-bye.